Everybody, Jeff from Corrugated Cavalier here. You can probably guess that I've got another spear video for you. This time it's not Fiore though, it is the 1809 Portuguese method of handling the spear or pike. So I got into this because I've been doing a little bit of British military saber recently in the Roworth tradition. And one of the guys in my club has been as well. He's really interested in naval combat. And after reading some Pringle Green, he talks about boarding pikes, and he kind of talks about tactics, but he doesn't really talk about any techniques, so I was in search of some techniques for a boarding pike. While I didn't find that, this is for infantry, spear, or pike, and it is from 1809, so it's really the period that I'm looking for in the Napoleonic Wars era. So it's really perfect. I originally found this on the Academy of Historical Fencing Resources website, but this was translated by a guy named Rui Ferreira. I'm sure I butchered your name, I apologize, of Espada Negra, which is a HEMA club in Portugal. So big thanks to them. I have links to some of their work and their Facebook page below, so go check them out. Alright, so just a little bit of history. In 1807, the French army invaded Portugal under Napoleon, under the pretext that Portugal refused to cut ties with Britain. So they invaded Portugal, a lot of the aristocracy fled to their new colony of Brazil, and around 1810 it seems like the British started sending troops and officers over to mount a resistance to Napoleon from Portugal. Napoleon was taking over Spain at that time as well. So it was a combined British and Portuguese force, in my understanding, that kind of set out from Portugal into Spain. So that's the context for this spear manual, which was written in 1809, probably, so that's just a couple of years after Napoleon invaded Portugal. All right, so let's get into the manual a little bit. It talks a little bit about antiquity and the Roman legions, and using them as a model for this. And then it goes pretty much straight into some principles. So there are 4 principles, and the first one is taken or thrown time in weapons, and that is to take advantage or win the adversary's movement with a faster movement, so just do a movement that's faster than theirs. And then the second one is parade, which is all the positions that oppose the lunge and blow in a manner in which the weapon in guard becomes close to the adversary's body. It goes on to say that the natural guard is the easiest and the readiest to perform all movements and is the strongest to throw and parry, and we'll get to the natural guard right after this. Then it mentions feints. It has a slightly long text, but I'll just summarize a bit, and it says to circumvent the spear or pike to the opposing side. So basically just a disengage of some kind from which one lunges in offense. It is a deceit. And then the 4th principle is the lunge or point. All the movements made forward that start from parades to injure the antagonist, and the blow can come from the same parades to cut him. However, sometimes it is also a consequence of the lunge. Meaning, I would assume that the blow comes after the enemy lunges as an attack. And the blows really rely on what type of pike head you have. So I'm going to put up a great picture that's in this manual about the different pike heads. And they class them into type 1 and type 2, or class 1 and class 2, I think they say. And class 1 are just thrust-only kind of spearheads, and class 2 are cutting. This is a Japanese yari head, incidentally, but it's the closest thing I've got. Okay, so let's just get straight to the guards then, shall we? So the first guard that we come to is the first parade. They also call it the natural guard. So this is just sort of like a basic kind of spear stance. So it says that the weight is on both legs, though later it goes on to say that it is mostly on the rear. And then it says that the feet are 44 centimeters apart, very precise, so I've got my tape measure down here. The heels, I suppose, are 44 centimeters apart, so it's still a relatively relaxed stance. It's not any crazy wide stance. And it says the left hand holds in the middle of the shaft. The right hand is 22 centimeters behind the buttock. I'm not going to measure that, but, that seems about right to me. And the point is aimed at the antagonist's head. Okay, and then it also says that you may advance with the left, It also says you may advance with the right and that you cover more ground, but the body becomes more constricted. So, as you can see, yeah, my body's a little bit twisted up here, but that's not really so bad. And that is the natural guard, which takes us to the position of firing the lunge. Now, the plate only shows it in this position with the hands high. Actually, I guess it's a little bit more like this because they want the back of the shaft covering the forearm, it looks like. The plate only shows it with hands high. However, it mentions on that plate that it can be done with the shaft of the spear on the inside of the arm and the nails facing up, which I presume is just this more like underhanded thrust. And it says to do it with a lunge, with the knee perpendicular to the instep of the left foot and the right foot firmly planted into the ground, and a large step, but keeping the body in balance. So I presume, you know, something a little bit like this. That's about as big of a step as I can comfortably manage and still be relatively in balance, and come back to natural guard. So, you know, to me it's a little bit just like a saber lunge for me. I'm not an expert at that stuff yet, but that's how I interpret it. And then with the underhanded thrust, the next guard that the manual mentions is the parade or high guard, and that is your left foot comes behind your right foot. It says 16 centimeters. I'm not going to measure that either. I'm just getting it to where it's comfortable and my left leg is out of the way. And the hands are high, the right hand is above the head, but it says never losing the grip of the natural guard. So I should be able to come back to natural guard relatively easily from here. And it says that this presumes that the antagonist defended your thrust and attacks high. So you parry like that. And it says that the lunge can be fired from here as well. Absolutely. And your hands are already high. So all you really have to do is move the body forward. Maybe a little stab with the hands as well would possibly be beneficial. And then back to natural guard. The leg thing is interesting because after doing Roworth a little bit, it seems a lot like a slip, just exaggerated. And I think earlier versions of Roworth than the one I normally study has a slip like this. But presumably, if you're fighting with spears, they've got a little bit more reach, so you need to get that leg out of the way a little bit more just in case they do attack it. That's my assumption, anyhow. The next guard is the second parade or second high guard, and the text of the manual is like really complex of how you get into it, but the plate shows a great picture, and I'll just put that up. And it's worth noting here that the right foot is in front. So my right foot is going to be in front. I'm going to kind of face the camera for this one, and my left foot is going to be out. But the spear is still on the left-hand side of my body. And this is for cutting pikes predominantly. And it says if the enemy advances, then you can drop the blow on their head and return down into a natural guard, or drop into a natural guard. So what I presume is you're stepping back with the right foot into a natural guard as the enemy advances and dropping the blow. That makes sense to me. So from the side, and the last position that I want to show is waiting for the cavalry attack, and this one makes a lot of sense. You drop your right knee to the ground and plant the butt of the spear firmly into the ground. And wait for the cavalry charge. It does say that you start from a high guard, I'm guessing this one, to basically scare the horses, it sounds like, and then you drop into this one. And it mentions some more tactics for this as well, and more group tactics in the manual as well. But yeah, I want to save that for a next video. Alright, so I hope you enjoyed that quick look at the 1809 method of handling a spear. The Pike from Portugal. I had a lot of fun doing it, and I'm going to do another video where we discuss more mass tactics, cavalry tactics, and there's a quick military drill with presenting arms and attention and stuff like that. Not really my forte, but I want to do my best to present it anyhow. Yeah, so if you have any comments or questions, anything you'd like to see, please post it below. We're really close to 100 subscribers. I think we've got 99 right now, so let's push it up there and I can do a fun 100 subscribers video. Possibly a little bit of more action with the Japanese Yari, who knows. Once again, thank you so much to Espada Negra. They have been awesome in communicating with me and being cool with me using this resource that they translated, so big thanks to them. Check out their Facebook page and links to their work below. Thank you all for coming by the channel. As usual, please like, subscribe, share this around to people who might find it interesting. You can follow me on Twitter at CorrugatedCaval1. And yeah, be good to each other, and adios.